Well, this is the fabled tomato, my black market goods. Bought about 2 weeks ago. At one point it did end up in the fridge, so I just left it there because otherwise it would have gotten nasty a little too fast once it was refrigerated. But as you can see, there's definitely some ugliness going on here. Yeah, so that's my black market tomato. And I've got my recipes here from the White House cookbook. I've got tomato catsup number 1 and number 2 to work with. I've opted for recipe number 1, but I'm actually breaking it down to be less full of ingredients than this, because I think there's some things that this character wouldn't be able to afford. For example, black pepper, cinnamon, cloves, cayenne pepper, nutmeg. She might be able to get those over time, but on her first trip I think she'll find that many of these will require special connections and people to order through. So the list I came up with based on this is, well, one, she's working with 1 tomato, not 2 quarts, but that works out because I don't think she could afford much salt or sugar either. I'm not sure she can get an onion, so we're just going to do 1 tomato, some salt, sugar, strain it once we boil it, and then vinegar from grain. And that's what we're going to do here, so hang tight. So here we are cutting this here tomato. So let's see what we get.
I think you should show it off.
Kind of curious about this here dot. I don't know, maybe I've got some host inside of there. But let's see what we've got. Actually, it looks pretty good on the inside, all things considered. So even a black market tomato is pretty survivable. I don't see any aliens in there. I think we're good. I think actually what this might be is the injection point from the government as they're putting in brain control serums. You'll find that to be the case oftentimes at organic markets and things like that. But no aliens. Let's see here. Yeah, this actually looks like a pretty dang good tomato. So here's a note. Ugly on the outside, beautiful on the inside. A pleasant surprise for this tomato. So I'm just going to be mincing this up and going from there. So here we have my diced up tomato, which is almost disappointingly good looking, but I guess that's reality, so that's the way it is. I also have some grain vinegar here. I haven't quite decided exactly how much to use of that yet, but I figure vinegar is probably one of those things that would actually be pretty easy to get a large quantity of. Here we have sugar and salt, both which I would expect to be expensive, but probably on the cheaper price point end of the spectrum for the black market, because you can get salt from multiple areas without mining. The sugar, I don't know. I'll have to think about that some more, but we'll figure that out later. And yeah, I'm going to toss these in a pan and cook it all down. Okay, so I've added them into a saucepan, my 1 tomato plus the salt and the sugar. And I'm going to cook it and kind of get it all squishy, and then from there I'll add the vinegar, and then I think we'll essentially have our catsup once we strain it out. So, see how it goes. So we've got our ooey gooey tomato here, and I'm about to try and strain it through and see if we can get the rest of the sauce going. There it is. Squished up tomato. So the instructions are pretty clear that I'm supposed to mush this all through until only the seeds are left. We'll see how much I can really get out. It is intended for a larger quantity of tomatoes, so we'll see what we get. It's going to be interesting. I imagine the skins won't go through either, but you know, my character wouldn't know that. So here we go. Yeah, there's actually some ketchup-like substance in there now. You just need to make sure to get all the rest of the meat through, and then it should be good. I don't know that she's going to have as nice strainer as this, but we'll see. this is what I've got to work with, so maybe the black market's nice and provides her with some tools to cook in her shady back room or something like that. Very sketchy. Alright. Seems to me like I've gotten most of this out. What do you think?
And check the bottom of the...
Oh yeah. Quite a lot of stuff's under there. Now this looks pretty close to ketchup that I know, but you know, it kind of looks actually kind of gross from a character standpoint. But I guess in a world where you're already eating liquid goo, is this really so bad? If anything, it's probably just kind of pretty to see the colorations and things. Looks like some seeds even made it through. That's kind of funny. Okay, so here's what it is. And that's all that's left of that tomato. So that whole tomato just essentially got the peel right here. Maybe I'll actually give it another strain here. So, let's see. Alright. Yeah. There we go. Catsup. Well, the start of it. Need to add the vinegar next. And then we'll be good to go. So I don't really want to do all the math on vinegar and how much tomato, because it's supposed to be 2 quarts of tomatoes to 1 pint of vinegar. So I think she would just essentially sploosh it on there until she felt like it was good enough. And that's how I'm going to do it, because it's my character, and you guys can make your own characters if you want to do it differently and live off of Soylent for 25 days, so deal with it, suckers. Got a little bit in there now. Now I know tomato's supposed to be pretty thick. Tomato ketchup is supposed to be pretty thick. So I might even cook this a little longer. There we go. So I'll put a little more vinegar for good measure, and then we'll just play it from there. So here we are about 20 seconds later. I just cooked it on some high heat to thicken it. It thickened really nicely. At this point, I think she might realize why they call for so many tomatoes, but in her reluctance to, you know, buy that much for something she was already kind of, you know, not sure how it would turn out, I think this is actually a good outcome. It's kind of a surprising outcome, actually, that it came out so nice in such a small quantity. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my little dish. Let it cool off. And at this point, I don't think the character realizes this is a condiment, or what a condiment even is. So, from her perspective, this is food of ye oldie times. So we'll see how this goes. So, I haven't tasted anything except Soylent and flavorless toothpaste and water in 25 days. I have actually been dreading this moment, but so far this cooking has actually gone surprisingly smoothly and kind of looks good, so oh, that is way too strong. I know ketchup. It has some good redeeming values. It's very tomatoey. Hang on, Soylent. Wow, that's much more neutral. If you don't know this is a condiment, you're making a huge mistake. I'm instantly put off of food. I don't even want any of that. at all. I'm sorry, I'll clean this up, but I assure you, this is actually rather disgusting. It is an assault on my taste buds, an affront to nutrition. This tasted actually really, really, really good after that, and I've lived the last 3 days feeling like I've been eating chicken feet every day. And, I can't eat this. Like, if I'm dipping something in this, like, give me some chicken nuggets, please, for the love of God. But, yeah, this isn't gonna work. This is not food in any regard. It's an injustice. Yeah, I could actually go for like another 2 weeks on Soylent after that and actually probably be okay. I mean, like, if I were this person, I'd want to just throw in the towel on food, you know, get rid of this contraband cookbook and walk away. But, wow, that was even more awful than I thought it was going to be. It's actually good ketchup, I just want to point out, but there's no french fries here, so. Don't eat a whole mouthful of homemade ketchup, it's a giant mistake. And, bye for now, because I have to go clean the floor.